Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time stumbling upon one of my videos. I'm so glad you're here. If you caught my recent video of reorganizing my bookshelves, this is essentially going to be the part 2 to that video, and I want to give you guys a bookshelf tour today. At the end of the video previously, I just kind of showed you a quick glimpse of what the bookshelf looked like, but I didn't really go into what I have on my shelf, and I have over 100 books on my physical TBR here, so I thought it would be a fun idea to go through and show you guys what I have, what I'm anticipating reading this year, series that I can't wait to get into, special editions that I have, signed copies that I have, and just general things about my bookshelf that make me happy. So let's get into it. So I think we'll go ahead and start in the upper left and work our way down into the middle shelf and then to the shelf on the right. And then, of course, a little honorable mention, I'm going to go through Andrew's horror shelf as well. Okay, so for the top shelf, this is basically the start of my fantasy shelf. And I say I mean mine and Andrew's books are on these shelves. So this is basically the start of our fantasy shelf. This one specifically just sounds like it's going to be so much fun. And it's called This Will Be Fun. I don't hear anybody ever talking about this, and there's a group of books that I feel are all kind of similar, like vibes. Assistant to the Villain is one of them, which was one of my favorite books that I've ever read and my favorite read of last year, if you've been following along, but this is one I cannot wait to read. Along with that, How to Become a Dark Lord and Die Trying. Sounds like it's also going to be right down that alley, and this is book 1. One I cannot wait to read this year, and Andrew and I are going to read together, is The Poppy War. And then I have these beautiful copies of Fable and Namesake by Adrienne Young. I only have the first book in the Crescent City series. I haven't started this series, or Throne of Glass, so I also only have Assassin's Blade because that's where I plan to start. Then I have Lightlark and Nightbane. I'm waiting for the paperback release of Skyshade. Then I have this gorgeous copy with sprayed edges of The Spell Shop. And right down that alley of This Will Be Fun is Dreadful. Look at these sprayed edges. They're so gorgeous. This book sounds like it's just going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to pick this one up. The North Wind is another one I don't hear people talking about, by Alexandria Warwick. Little spin on Beauty and the Beast, I hear. It's just a beautiful book. I love the blue colors here. It's one of my favorite books on my shelf. Can't wait to dive into that one. And then we have this little shelf here, and this is basically just a shelf that we made the specific size for Andrew's Lego. This is Ayrton Senna's car if you're into Formula One. This is his car when he was driving with McLaren, which is just such a cool piece to have. And being one of Andrew's favorite drivers, and possibly my favorite driver, we felt like this was a good addition. Coming down to the second shelf here, this is my Harry Potter shelf. My niece got us these really cute little plushies that we added. They're so cute. And I have these beautiful copies of Quidditch Through the Ages, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and The Tales of Beedle and Bard. These are some of my favorite books that I have as well. They're just so pretty. I feel like they're a great addition to the Harry Potter shelf. I also have my wand from Universal Studios in Hollywood. Andrew got me this Gryffindor wand stand when we first met, which was just very thoughtful, so we can have the wand out. I have my copy of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is one of my favorites. I reread it like every year. It's so good. If you haven't read it and you're into the Harry Potter universe, be sure to pick that one up. I saw the play in San Francisco on Broadway, and I took my book and had all of the actors that were out afterwards sign the inside. So this is just such a special book to me, such a special copy. It was my first time seeing a show on Broadway, and it was amazing. And then these are so special to us. Even though we don't have all of them, we're going to complete our copy. We're looking for first editions. These are Andrew's first editions from when he was a little kid, and they're just so special. I wish we had the sleeves for these, but we don't. But just having the first book alone is so special. So we are keeping these and adding to them, but I just feel like one day we'll be able to tell our kids, like whenever we show them Harry Potter, we'll be able to say like, these were Dad's books, which is so special. And coming down to the third shelf, this is Andrew's Sci-fi shelf. He has this really cute little nightlight. It doesn't work anymore, so we don't have the plug plugged in, which is fine because it just looks so cool just like that. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but there are a few on this shelf I'm going to read, like the Red Rising series and Hail Mary. This is Andrew's favorite book, so naturally I have to read it. He got this gorgeous hardback copy. And then he has his other Andy Weir books and Sleeping Giants trilogy. He's got some other books over here. Another one I'm going to read with him is Starter Villain by John Scalzi. This one just sounds like it's going to be really good. We're gonna read it together. I feel like it's gonna be quirky and fun. Any book with a cat on the cover, sign me up. All right, and then coming down to the next shelf, this is where I have my romance books, and I have this gorgeous copy with these pink sprayed edges of Binding 13. I haven't read this yet. It's a long series, so it's one I'm putting off, but I hear really good things. I just love this copy so much. And then I have the Dream Harbor series, which I still need to finish, my Ashley Poston books, and then just random romance books. Some of these I've read, some of these I haven't read yet. Just for the Summer is an obvious favorite. I can't wait to read Out on a Limb and Call It What You Want. I did pick up this really cool copy. I like these sprayed edges a lot with the boombox and the music notes at the Barnes & Noble Cafe for $5. Better than the movies. And then I have my Colleen Hoover books. She got me back into reading, so I really don't listen to any hate. I still need to read Heartbones and pick up some of her other books because I am probably still going to read all of her books. Then I have some Emily Henry books here. I don't have one of my favorites, which is Funny Story, because I bought it on my Kindle, so just no point in buying it again for my shelf. And then just some random other romance books here. And then on the bottom shelf, I have a stack of classics, which I'm still adding to. And then I just kind of randomly put my Adrienne Young books here. My other ones, obviously, from Fable and Namesake, but I have A Sea of Unspoken Things, and then I have 2 of her paperbacks here. And then this is just kind of random right now. I don't have a home for these, so these are just kind of a random array of books. I cannot wait to read Anatomy, A Love Story, Lights Out, A Little Life, and Bunny, which is a super random array of books, but those are some that are on my TBR this year. Then our other bottom shelf here just has our controllers for the Xbox and the Switch. And then Andrew has this really cute shelf with his rocket Lego that he built. This is the Pharrell Williams Lego rocket, and then he has some other sci-fi books that are all space like Dune and this really cool copy of Dead Astronauts. And one of my new favorite shelves, which is our banned book shelf, we have been adding to this shelf. We recently added Animal Farm, a new copy of 1984. We already had one copy, and this copy of Handmaid's Tale is seriously gorgeous. If you saw in my last vlog where I did a book haul, you saw that we picked this up, and it's just the coolest copy ever. Then I have my ACOTAR books here. I will obviously have to make the shelf bigger when she writes her next book, but I love the colors on these books so much. I just love that she went with these vibrant, bright colors, and I'm excited to see what color the next one's gonna be. I think it's gonna be purple. Let me know in the comments what you think. And then my last shelf here, I am featuring the trilogy for The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. The second book is The Retreat, and the third book is The Wilds. I haven't read The Retreat and The Wilds yet. I just picked those up recently, so I still have The Sanatorium fresh on the brain. I read it in October, so I should pick those up soon. All right, and then coming over here, this is the continuation of my fantasy bookshelf. We just have these kind of mass market copies randomly put here. Then I have these 3 books with just beautiful sprayed edges. This is Can't Spell Treason Without T, A Pirate's Life for T, and one other that I can't remember, but I don't want to take that out right now. Then I have When the Moon Hatched, which, by the way, guys, I bought this book thinking that it was just one book, and it is a whole series, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many fantasy series. I really just appreciate a good one-off fantasy book or duology. And then I have this gorgeous copy that I just bought of Impossible Creatures. I love the gold foiling here. This is a children's book, and this is also a series. There's so many books on this shelf that I can't wait to read, but specifically this beautiful copy of If We Were Villains. I just love this like blood splatter here with the red sprayed edges. I can't wait to read this book. I have only read Graveyard Shift by ML Rio, so I'm excited for this. So many here I meant to get to last fall, so I'm excited to get to them this year. The Mead Mishap series is so good. I just need to read the 3rd one. I still need to read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I have these Barnes & Noble exclusive editions, and they are so beautiful. Some of the most beautiful books I own as well. And look at these pages, they're like a journal, just so pretty. And then obviously my favorite, Assistant to the Villain. I have Apprentice to the Villain with the purple sprayed edges. Sadly, I do not have Assistant to the Villain with the sprayed edges, but I'm hoping to get my hands on it somehow. And then I've already pre-ordered her 3rd book. And then coming down to this shelf, which I love so much, I have the Cruel Prince series. This is one I'm picking up really soon. I'm debating between this one, Red Queen, or Powerless, but it might be Cruel Prince. I recently got this insanely beautiful copy of The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This is a collector's edition. I had to have this. This comes highly recommended. I have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Need to read that. I'm so glad it's just a duology. Powerless series, I pre-ordered the new book coming out this year as well. All of these are series I haven't read, so this is kind of my shelf that gets me really excited. I have this gorgeous piece that we bought at our local spiritual shop. It's just so beautiful. I haven't put anything inside of it, but just a beautiful piece. And then I get this sage with lavender. It's infused with clear quartz and amethyst at the bottom. I spray my house every night for that good energy. And then I have the Red Queen series, so I'm just excited about this entire shelf. And then this shelf continues Andrew's Sci-fi, which none of these I have read or are necessarily on my TBR, but I absolutely love these copies of Annihilation, Authority, and Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer. If you guys have not seen the Annihilation film with Natalie Portman, I highly recommend. He said the books are quite different, but unfortunately, the new book that came out, I don't know if they have a new publisher or if the author just changed his mind on how he wanted his books to look, but they did away with his style, and it's very sad. So Andrew has not picked up the new book because he's just really upset. I'm upset for him too, because these are really cool colors, and I was hoping for him to be able to complete this version of his series. But he's got some really good sci-fi books here if you are a sci-fi fan. And then I picked up this Wall-E Funko Pop. This is the big size, or the jumbo, I think they call it. But I just feel like it's the perfect addition to his sci-fi shelf. He loves Wall-E so much. It's his favorite Pixar character. And then coming down, we are almost to the end of the shelf already. I have my thriller shelf, which is, there's definitely not enough space here. I have my famous Last Words copy that I just got in the mail with Jillian's signature, which is so cool. And I have her other books here. I just love her books so much. I have my Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and then one of the best sections on the shelf, which is my T. Kingfisher section. You guys know I love T. Kingfisher. I'm obsessed with T. Kingfisher if you're new around here. She writes these really odd, quirky horrors, which are The Twisted Ones, Hollow Places, What Moves the Dead, and What Feasts at Night is a duology. She writes these really odd spins on fairy tales, like A Sorceress Comes to Call is one of them. Thorn Hedge is one Barnes & Noble is promoting right now, which is really exciting. But yeah, she just writes some really odd, quirky books. If you're into Tim Burton, you might really like her style. I don't have another author to compare her to right now, but she's like my Tim Burton author. And then coming down here, we have more thrillers. They just continue on. Again, like we have so many thrillers. I don't even think this is enough space that we have. But I have some of Laura Dave's books here, Riley Sager, and then Andrew has his David McCloskey books that he loves so much. And then down at the bottom right now, this is just like a random array of books for us. I cannot wait to read some V.E. Schwab. I cannot wait to read some Madeline Miller, Maggie O'Farrell, like so many authors I'm excited to get into this year. We have some Taylor Jenkins Reid, Where the Crawdads Sing, and then in this little corner, we have our Book of the Month books. And last but not least, Andrew has this really cool bookshelf here that he got on Amazon, and he has all of his horror books over here. This guy has so many horror books. I was like, you need to have your own little section, your own little space, and look, they barely fit. He basically has like no more space if he wants to add any books. Believe it or not, there are a few on here that I would like to read, such as The Last House on Needless Street. Frankenstein is one of my all-time favorite books. We Used to Live Here. The Midnight Club, I loved the show. And I did read Horror Movie, actually. Was not impressed, didn't love that book too much. But that is the tour. This is where we are right now. So many books on my physical TBR, so many books that I just love to look at, and we're just really proud of our little space. We've always wanted a bookshelf, and we started off with a very small collection of books, and now we have this that we're so proud of. So that is the bookshelf tour, guys. Thanks so much for being here, and thank you so much to each and every one of you who has followed, who likes and comments. It really does help my channel out. If you don't want to miss out on any more book content or lifestyle content, life in my 30s, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.